Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. We had a little technical difficulty there. So everybody wants to make their way to their seat. We'll get started. I'm Jason Shade. I am the Athletic Director of Miamisburg City Schools. On behalf of the Miamisburg City Schools and Hall of Fame Committee, welcome to tonight's 2026 Hall of Fame Induction Reception. We are live streaming tonight's ceremony. You can find that link at gobergathletics.org. That is our new website for athletics. We would like to take this time to remember Hall of Famer Steve Coughlin that is no longer with us tonight as we keep his family in our thoughts and prayers. It is a true honor to be here with some of the finest and most productive athletes in the history of Miamisburg schools. And I do apologize, I am kind of an emotional guy if you guys don't know me, and I will get through this, okay? We appreciate you giving up your evening to be here with us. Tonight we will be adding 4 new members to the Hall of Fame: Dick Church, Adam Giles, Anna Weisman, and Jacob Wiley. I would first like to introduce the Hall of Fame committee with us here tonight. If you would please stand when I call your name. Rex Gardecki, Brian Myers, Michael Black, Jason Osborne, Scott Masters, Allison Janes. I knew Mr. Russo could not be here tonight. He is calling a basketball game down south. And I do not believe I saw Jane Schmitz walk in. If I missed her, I apologize, but I don't think I saw her. If you are interested in information about the Hall of Fame nomination process, it can be found on our athletic website, gobergathletics.org. If you have any questions in regards to the process, feel free to contact a committee member or reach out to us in the athletic office. Okay. At this time, I would like to ask Jason Osborne to please stand. As many of you know, Ozzy, which we call him, retired last month. I think it is very important for this group to have the opportunity to thank him for his years of service and commitment to Miamisburg City Schools, Miamisburg Athletics, and the Hall of Fame itself. This ceremony would not be possible without Ozzy's attention to detail and his constant drive to up our game within the athletic department and the Hall of Fame committee. Because of his efforts, tonight is truly a special night for all past and present Hall of Fame members and their families. Thank you, Ozzy. Love you, bud. Now I'm going to quickly turn it over to Rex Gardecki, and then when he's finished, Mr. Mark Becker has a few words for you as well.
Good evening. I'm Rex Gardecki, graduate of 1968 Miamisburg High School. Look around here, some great classmates and teammates. The reason I'm here is twofold. I'm on the committee for the Hall of Fame, but I'm also on the committee for our Miamisburg Education Foundation. And a couple things I want to talk about. As some of you know, I do the Dayton basketball games on radio, and I do the post-game stuff, and it's invariably someone or more than someone always calls in from Miamisburg and talks about the game, but talks about the tradition of Miamisburg schools. And that makes me really proud to feel, that people recognize us. I have 2 daughters that are graduates of the high school, 2 granddaughters that's going to be graduates of Miamisburg High School. So, and I had the opportunity to talk, sort of special thing for me, my former high school coach is, on his last few years, has been very, very ill. And he's moved from Florida to the Dayton area. And 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to meet with him and talk about things. Pat was a former player at Bowling Green, former coach at Dayton, former coach at Bowling Green, and now moved back in the Dayton area. And he always says, the best years of my life was when I was at Miamisburg. He was a basketball coach. He drove the bus to games. Tom and the people that are here remember him. But it's funny. There's a guy that's 70 years ago still remembers the value of what we do. I won't bore you with a lot of details. This is something that I really have a lot of pride in being involved with. We have some trustees here, and if you might stand up if you're on the board. I see Lee, I see Mike, if you would just sort of raise your hand. Zach's on it, Scott's on it. We are an organization that has been in force for, I would say, over 50 years now. We are in a position of granting scholarship money to a lot of former Miamisburg people. If I look here tonight, I'm sure Adam got some. I'm sure John got some. I look at other people here. If you were fortunate to go through this, Brenda Hibber's here who helped do this. So we're not begging for money. We're in a situation, we're very fortunate. We have over $3 million in our coffers right now. But a lot of that money is used for your educations. It goes to each elementary school, the PTOs and things like that. So if you have any interest in it, just read the information. We're fully tax deductible. It's one of the greatest things that this school district has done. So if we can help you, any questions, information on here, we'd be more than glad. So I want to congratulate all the inductees tonight. It's well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Rex. And next we'll bring up Miamisburg Hall of Fame member, Mark Becker.
Again, Mark Becker, I'm a graduate of Miamisburg, 1970. My cousin John's sitting out there, good to see him. I asked Jason if I could just have a few minutes to speak this evening. This year marks the 35th anniversary of the Hall of Fame, and it's something that's very dear to me. In 1989, I approached Dick Church about this, about starting a Hall of Fame at Miamisburg. Dick said, well, I'm worried about politics first. And, but he was highly supportive of doing this, but he said, I don't think I'll ever make it. And I said, well, okay. But he told me, go ahead, make it happen. With that, I was able to gather a number of people in the community to be on the first Hall of Fame committee. Tom Robinson used to be the principal here at Miamisburg. Rhea Parkhurst, Janet Joseph. I haven't seen Janet in 25 years, and she's here tonight. Kenny Van Buren, Tom Kreitzer, Ralph Bergdahl, who was longtime track and cross-country coach at Miamisburg, and athletic director at the time was Curtis White. Our first challenge was to develop eligibility rules that over time have changed, which is good. But our biggest challenge was picking the first class that was inducted on February 9th, 1991. It was a monumental task, but after some lengthy discussions and even some disagreements with people, we pared our numbers down from 500 names to 18. And that was not easy to do. I'm not going to go into names of the first inductees, but you may recognize some. This group included probably I consider the finest basketball player ever to play at Miamisburg. We had a variety of athletes from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So it was a real interesting group of people. We had one of the earliest female athletes at Miamisburg to qualify for 2 state championships in 2 different sports. We had a football coach who guided Miamisburg's football team. And you don't know this, but Miamisburg used to hold the record for the longest winning streak in the state of Ohio, 37 consecutive wins. We had a state champion in gymnastics, several state champions. And we had an athlete who went on to win NCAA and AAU championships. To be honest, we could have inducted 50, but Curtis said, hey, we only got so much time at halftime. We can't drag this thing out. But each year this event gets plenty of attention and great turnouts, even if the weather turns bad. When Doug Schmidt became athletic director, I went to him right away and said, we've got to keep this going. I'm moving, though, unfortunately. And Doug says, we'll make this happen. And he made this event classier, as far as I was concerned. And Jason Osborne, Jason, again, my buddy, I bug him to death, he built this up to even a better event every year. So that first night in 1991 was really awesome, and believe me, I had no idea how this would turn out. Sometimes athletic Hall of Fames don't always go well, but this one has. So I want to congratulate those who are being inducted this evening, And congratulations to all those who are here and have earned this highest athletic honor from Miamisburg High School. Thank you.
Mark, you just helped me realize a mistake, which I do often. Doug passed away this past summer. I missed him on that, so thoughts to Doug Schmidt and his family as well. So, okay. So with us here tonight from Miamisburg City Schools, if you would please stand. We have new Superintendent Stacy Maney, Assistant Superintendent Steve Homan, High School Principal Michael Black, Assistant Athletic Director Zach Myers, Assistant Athletic Director Matt Muncy, Board members Ann Neese and Chris Amsler. Thank you all for your support and all that you do. We have a few head coaches here with us tonight as well. Matt Muncy, head football coach. Emma Sabley, head cheer coach. Tim Freeze is around here somewhere, boys basketball coach. He's still back there. John Good, gymnastics. Kelly Schott, girls soccer. If you guys would please stand. Looking off to you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Unless I missed somebody, I think I got them all. Sean Sims is in the gym practicing. He's going to be stopping over here in a little bit. Our sports medicine team through Kettering Health Network. They've been in and out tonight. Laura Stafford, Kelsey Eddy, and Dave Cookson over here. So thank you guys for all that you do. Viking Boosters Association, President Jennifer Kopic, please stand. Vice President Michelle Lieber. I don't think I see Michael back there, so he's probably running around here somewhere. A big thank you to the Viking Boosters Association for sponsoring tonight's dinner, catered by TJ Chumps, and dessert from Kelly Astor Brooks. Information on how to become a member is on your table. Just use the QR code to sign up or donate. And from the city of Miamisburg, we have city council members Ryan Colvin and Jeff Nestor. If you guys would please stand, appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. And yes, for those of you that don't know, I started a city council in January, so I have a 4-year gig doing that, so I'm excited about that as well. So I would like to congratulate our inductees and their families on their accomplishments. This is an outstanding class that has made our community and school proud in so many ways. These individuals have left a lasting impression on the people who watch them excel in competition, along with building impactful relationships with the student athletes they served. Their generosity and support of Miamisburg athletics has had a great impact on many young lives. At this time, I would like to recognize our first inductee of the evening, former Mayor Dick Church, Jr. Before I get into this, a lot of you have asked about my bow tie. So for those of you who don't know, Mayor Church was a big bow tie wearer. And years ago, I couldn't tell you the year, he made Miamisburg bow ties, ones with M's and ones with Vikings heads. And so, of course, I bought a couple of those. And so I wanted to wear this in honor of him tonight. He's such a great man, taught me a lot, was a great guy to talk to. So, yeah, that's for him tonight. Dick's wife, Judy, will be accepting his award. I'm probably going to mess this word up. We reviewed it all a bunch today, and the pronunciation is always tough for me. It ties my tongue. Posthumously. So probably messed it up, but it seems like there's a lot of pronunciations out there for it. But Dick's wife, Judy, will be accepting his award. Dick is a member of the class of 1959. He's being inducted tonight as a contributor to Miamisburg Athletics and Schools. Dick will be presented by his lifelong friend, Tom Krosky. So Tom and Judy, if you guys would come on up.
Thanks, Jason. Mark, Dick Church did make it. He didn't think he would, but he made it. That's awesome. We all knew Dick Church, and if we didn't, we kind of felt like we did because he was such a personable person and such a prominent member of the community. I think there's some reasons for that. He was very accessible. You could talk to him, he cared about you, he was friendly. If he didn't know your name, he pretended to know you. and that's what a lot of us do, you know, sometimes, but he was very sincere about that. He was caring, he was down to earth. I don't know if you know it, but Dick Church went to Miami University, the best university on the face of the earth, and he had a great deal of success at Miami. He had won, I believe, 6 different beer chugging contests. And that might have had something to do with him coming home after the first semester. And he came back to Miamisburg and he never left. And that's a blessing for this community. That's a real blessing. A couple things he did. He was a volunteer fireman, which I'm glad my family didn't have a fire. He was a police dispatcher. He was editor of the Miamisburg News. He was chairman of the Parks and Rec Board and served on that board for a long, long time. He was on city council. He was, as Rex said, he was on the Miamisburg Schools Education Foundation. He was also on the Miamisburg Community Foundation. He got me on that. He was instrumental in Buckeye Boys State. And of course, he was mayor for 28 years. He had a vital role, he played a vital role in rehabbing the Mound plant. You know, he came into office in 91, Judy, is that right? 1991, and the Department of Energy promptly announced that they were closing the Mound. Welcome to your mayorship, you know. So he worked tirelessly, many, many trips to Washington, worked with local congressman Mike Turner, forged a real relationship with him, and Mike was very instrumental in getting money for the cleanup. All that effort, Dick had an integral part in, and he and more than anybody, any other single person, got about $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken, for the cleanup process. $1 billion, and that was income tax money, of course. He also ended his career with the organization, the Mound Improvement Corp, that runs the mound. So it was a huge effort on his part, and he deserves a lot of credit. He also supported the schools, as you know. He loved the band. He loved athletics. He was very supportive of them. He and Judy have established their own scholarship through the Miamisburg Miamisburg Schools Education Foundation. He was truly a servant to Miamisburg schools, and the entire region. None of this was possible without Judy. Judy was the breadwinner. I think as mayor, Dick made $8,000 or something a year, you know. Judy working hard, getting her doctorate, enabled Dick to serve all of us, and that's a blessing that we all had. 3 quick stories, then I'll quit. My neighbor, when I lived off of Maui Road, had a water problem, and he blamed the city for allowing the developer to come there and, build houses. And so Dick and Judy had an unpublished telephone number, a landline. Everybody know what a landline is? And at 3 a.m, this guy calls Dick and says, "I want you over here now. The city caused this problem," so Dick calls the engineer. 3 a.m., they go out to this guy's house. I don't know what they were going to do at 3 a.m., but Dick was there responding to citizen needs. The second example is one Sunday afternoon, Judy and Dick are probably watching, I don't know, Andy Griffith. And these kids knock at the door, these boys, they got skateboards. He said, "Are you the mayor?" "Yeah, I'm the mayor." "Well, we need a skate park." Well, we got a skate park because of Dick Church primarily, again, responding to citizens' needs. The third story that I'll tell you had to do with the sewage treatment plant. If you've ever been by a sewage treatment plant, they don't smell all that great. And when I was in Rotary with Dick, he came to me one day and he said, "We got to start walking, Tom. You're putting weight on." He was right. And he and Dave Wood were walking the neighborhood, and they said, come join us. So I joined them. We walked about 2 miles every morning. Then we started walking 2 miles in the morning, going to the coffee cup 3 days a week. And then eventually we just went to the coffee cup 3 days a week. So every time that, for a while, there was these group of ladies at the coffee cup, and every time Dick would walk by, they'd stop him and complain about how the sewage treatment plant smelled. Well, it did smell. And he'd try to do something about it. He got the engineer involved and the works department and the city manager, and they tried to do some things, and it still smelled. So every time he came by those women, they'd complain. So one day, he walks in, the one lady says, Dick, it still smells. And he says, I know, and he walked right on by. Then he comes back and he says, well, you know it is a shit plant. And that was Dick Church. That was his humor, and he delivered it beautifully. We're honored to have Dick in this. There's no greater supporter of Miamisburg and Miamisburg schools, and Judy was an integral part to that, and she deserves our appreciation.
Stand right up here for a second. I'm going to say a couple more things, all right?
Okay.
I'm going to add to that just a little bit. First, Judy and I contacted each other a couple weeks ago, just about tonight, to make sure we're on the same page. She invited me over to her house. It was before Christmas. Finally got over there in January.
And looked really good.
And she looked great. You look great. And I had just a wonderful time talking to you. We talked for an hour and a half, laughed, giggled, cried, got a new friend. For sure. Yeah, it was wonderful. Just one thing I just want to add on top of Tom. I'm not sure if you guys know this about Mayor Church or not, but two things on our end on the athletic department side. Number one, when we decided it was time to try to raise some funds and build a new stadium out here, Mayor Church was behind us. He was on our committee. He helped get donations, businesses, Kettering Hospital. I mean, he was the big guy behind the scenes, man, and we thank him for that. That was big. And I coached swimming here for 7 years, and Dick, as you guys know, was a mayor, and he did a lot of weddings. And one of the things that he did when he did his weddings, people paid him. He took every bit of that money and gave it all back to the different teams: swimming, football, band, drama, theater. I mean, they gave it all back. And that's impressive. I mean, every year we would raise money for the swimming team, and there'd be a check from Mayor Church. I don't know what the exact amount total was, but I'm telling you right now it was big. And we just want to make sure you guys all understand that too. So we appreciate everything. So,
Thank you.
absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
That's right. Okay. Let me get my notes here. Apologize. Tom, did you steal my note? He's really trying to make me look bad. Okay. All right. Tonight's second inductee is Adam Giles, a member of the class of 2015. Adam is being inducted as a participant in football, basketball, and baseball. He will be presented this evening by his brother, John Giles.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak here tonight. My name is John Giles, and I'm honored to introduce my brother, Adam Giles, as a member of the Miamisburg High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Growing up, Adam was always a good athlete, largely due to his God-given ability and being more physically developed than other kids. He first dunked the basketball in our driveway in 6th grade, which he loved to remind me about. However, kids like that don't always go on to have success in high school. And as Adam got older, he continued to improve and become more skilled. I think his development was largely due to 3 factors. First, his hard work and commitment. Second, our parents' encouragement, support, and holding him accountable, and his coaches for pushing him. His first varsity action was in basketball as a freshman. He was an important role player on a 16-win team. That was my senior year, and we had a lot of rewarding experiences from that season and shared memories. That spring, he made the varsity baseball team. In his first start, he went 2 for 3 with 3 runs and 3 RBIs. The fall of the sophomore year, he joined the football team. In his first game, he had 2 touchdowns and an interception. Both of those examples, I think, show that he was fearless. He would play at a high level when it was time to perform, and that's innate. That's something that can't be taught. From there, he gradually improved along with the programs he was a part of. Adam's athletic achievements demonstrated a combination of longevity and excellence. He played in 219 varsity games across 3 sports. He earned 11 varsity letters and was first or second team All-League 10 of those seasons. In football, he played both ways, was a 3-time team leader in receptions. In baseball, he had a .355 career batting average and 66 career RBIs. And in basketball, he set the record for most games played and finished 5th all-time in scoring with 1,049 career points. To me, his most impressive achievement was that as a senior, he was a team captain and first team All-GWOC South in all 3 sports. Adam played on some really good teams with impressive accomplishments. His teams had nearly twice as many wins as losses. He was a part of 137 varsity wins. In football, he was on 2 teams that made an 8-team Division I playoff. Those were the second and third appearances in school history. In basketball, he was on a GWOC South championship team as a junior and had 6 tournament wins. And in baseball, the team went 21-6 his junior season. He played with some great athletes, including current Hall of Fame members Connor Brown and Jeremy Randolph, as well as guys like Josh Baker, Josh Myers, and Chris Myers. It was a great era of Miamisburg athletics for those guys. I reached out to a few of his teammates and asked them what stood out to them about Adam as a teammate, and the common theme was that he was dependable. Connor Brown mentioned that he wasn't attention-seeking. He constantly showed up and produced. Jeremy Randolph said he was steady, consistent, had the same demeanor game in and game out. Brett Myers said he was disciplined, never cut corners, and he also knew Adam would have his back if there was ever a scuffle. What stood out to me about Adam was he was competitive, he cared more about winning than individual accomplishments, and he was tough physically and mentally and responded to coaching. After high school, Adam went through an adjustment period and faced some uncertainty as to what, if any, athletic future he had. He started off as a practice player for the women's team at Wright State. His sophomore year, he earned a walk-on spot on the men's team. He ended up appearing in 28 games over 3 years. His junior year, he was a part of a team that reached the NCAA tournament. He built important friendships. Some of his teammates and coaches are here tonight. His senior year, he was put on scholarship. Being invited to the locker room when he was told he had earned a scholarship was a special memory for our family. Not many people could go from being a star athlete in high school to a walk-on in college. It shows humility, being a good teammate, and a willingness to work hard. Adam will be the first to recognize the positive impact Miamisburg had on his development as a person. He cares about his community and is an excellent example of the value of high school sports in shaping well-rounded young men. Outside of athletics, Adam is a loyal brother, son, husband, and role model for his son. I'm proud to introduce Adam Giles as a member of the Miamisburg Athletic Hall of Fame.
Wasn't planning on getting emotional tonight, but now I don't know, so we'll see. I want to start out by congratulating the other inductees who are being honored tonight, Mayor Church, Anna, and Jacob. My dad had the opportunity to work with Mayor Church for many years as the city's public information officer, so it's an honor to be inducted with him tonight, and we always appreciated his support. Next, I want to thank Jason Osborne and Jason Shade for their efforts tonight and all their efforts during my time in high school. Also, I want to congratulate Ozzy on his retirement. Next, I want to thank all of the Hall of Fame members here tonight for their contributions to Miamisburg athletics, and then the Hall of Fame committee as well for their selection to be a part of this 2026 class. As I go through my thank yous tonight, you'll hear one word a lot: opportunity. I'm grateful to be here tonight and all opportunities I had as a Miamisburg athlete that got me here. But to start, I actually want to thank 4 people for showing up tonight that had nothing to do with my Miamisburg career at all. My 3 former teammates at Wright State, Ryan, Parker, and Trey, and then one of my Wright State coaches turned friend, Nick Goff, for coming tonight. I credit coming from Miamisburg Athletics for preparing me to be a part of that Wright State men's basketball team, both physically and mentally. Being a walk-on wasn't easy, but I'm grateful for my time there. I got to be a part of 2 championship teams, like John mentioned, earned a scholarship, and then the lifelong relationships and friendships I formed there. Next, I'd like to thank my in-laws, my wife's family, Jake, Tuesday, and Tony Ross. Although my wife and I weren't together in high school, I've always been thankful for their support during my time in college athletics and then support in life in general since joining their family. Miamisburg Athletics have always meant a lot to them as well. Jake was a good multi-sport athlete, 2 grades younger than me, and then Tony coached for 20 some odd years in just about every sport you could think of. Oh, sorry, premature. I want to thank my aunts, uncles, and cousins who were able to make it tonight. A lot of our cousins are younger, so when I was in high school, it was hard to get out, but they still made the effort to come out and support and show up to games when they were able. Then I want to
You got it.
You're doing better than your father.
Thank you. I want to give a special thank you to my grandparents. They donated supported countless fundraisers through the years, and there's rarely a game they weren't at from my time in youth sports through college. They took an interest in getting to know my teammates, how they were doing, and were invested in not just me, but my teams in Miamisburg in general. Thank you, guys. I want to thank my older brother, John, and my younger sister, Katie, for their support. Katie would be at most games, and if you know her, she couldn't care less about the outcome of that game, but it was more of a social opportunity for her. But I appreciate the support nonetheless. John always gave me a great example to look up to for his mature work ethic as a high school kid. I always respected that and tried to model after that. I was fortunate to play one basketball season with him, like he mentioned, his senior, my freshman year. And then after that season, he would come back during winter breaks and summer breaks and coach in some summer leagues and stuff. And as you can imagine, never any fights, arguments, or anything when an older brother is trying to give a younger brother some instruction with sports. But then we coached alongside each other for the last 6 years or so. John deserves a lot of credit for laying down a strong foundation with Miamisburg basketball and then my athletic career as well. He went from his freshman year of high school basketball, dressing for their tournament game at UD Arena on a 2-win team, to his senior year, my freshman year, on a 16-win team back at UD Arena competing for a sectional championship. He laid a great foundation for guys like me, Connor, and Jeremy Randolph. And then it kind of culminated 10 years after he graduated high school when we were both back on staff here at Miamisburg coaching basketball with Coach Freeze, when we were able to be a part of a sectional championship team. So something that eluded us during our playing careers, we ended up achieving and something that hadn't been done in decades. So thank you, John. I want to thank my wife, Taylor, also a graduate of Miamisburg. She was a good lacrosse player and even came back to coach for a few years during her time. She gave so much support to me during my Wright State years, and then post-graduation, she always supported my desire to coach. And even as we were starting our family and had our son, who's 2 now, she was always there and supporting me for doing that. So thank you. Finally, I want to thank my parents. They never missed a game, no matter the sport, no matter their location. I credit them for my competitiveness, drive to succeed in athletics. And they were just about as passionate and invested as me as I was in my sports. My siblings and I were lucky to have parents who went above and beyond and out of their way to give us every opportunity they could. For me, with athletics, that included football camps, summer baseball, AAU basketball, letting us drive the family minivan to and from summer leagues with half the team in the back, hosting pregame meals, the list could go on and on. They were selfless with us kids, but also with their time, serving on tip-off clubs, dugout clubs, in the athletic boosters, and even now, 10 years later, you'll still see my dad doing some site managing or my mom helping with the senior night. Thank you, guys. As you can see through all those thank yous, Miamisburg Athletics has been and continues to be a major part of my life, and I'm grateful to celebrate that tonight. I want to thank and acknowledge all the coaches I had. During my time as an athlete, I was lucky to have coaches who gave me opportunities to play varsity right away. I was fortunate enough to make the most of those opportunities, develop over time, and be trusted by those same coaches to be a captain in the programs. And as I speak for a moment about each sport real quick, you also see my time was impacted by a lot of other Hall of Fame members here tonight. In baseball, Coach Dan Moat and that staff saw something my freshman year. They believed in me and threw me out at first base, a position I'd never played before, but it worked out. In football, I didn't play freshman year, but decided to give it a try sophomore year. Brian Myers spent a good amount of time recruiting me out, and I'm glad that he did. And then I also had Coach Matt Muncy on our staff during my time coaching up the defense. One of, if not the best decision I made during my high school career was picking up football. In basketball, I want to thank Coach Freeze, Coach Johnson, and Coach Gardecki. They probably felt like I was around for 20 years, and when I did the math, I kind of was. I came to youth camp every year as a kid through middle school, where I was also coached by Jared Lovin, another Hall of Famer. I had my 4 years on the team and then came back to coach on staff after college. They invited me back yesterday to speak to the boys before their game tonight, and that was special. I was happy to be able to do that. I knew I wanted to make varsity basketball, especially as a freshman, because that was the only chance I had to play with John in the sport, and that staff made me earn it, but they gave me that opportunity, so thank you for that, and thank you for letting me be around and putting up with me for so long. These individual accolades are a lot easier when you're a part of some special programs. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be coached by some all-time greats, play alongside some all-time greats, and be a part of some all-time great teams. As you've already heard, I got to play with two guys that got inducted in the Hall of Fame last year, Connor in football and basketball, Jeremy in basketball and baseball. Connor and I, he's not here tonight, but Connor and I eternally owe Jeremy a thank you for passing us the ball our entire careers. Having two 1,000-point scorers on the same team for 3 years it's not easy, so we owe Jeremy a lot. From a team's, I'd also like to give a blanket thank you to the countless other teammates I had that made playing Miamisburg sports worth it. And then from a team standpoint, John talked about football and our accomplishments. I was able to be a part of some of the best football teams Miamisburg's ever had. In my 3 years, we went 22-10 and was on the second and third teams to ever make the state playoff in school history. Got to play in multiple sectional championships in baseball, and then the first GWAC conference championship in basketball my junior year. Last thing I want to touch on is something I was thinking about while I was writing this speech, is kind of what did all of this mean? And what I came up with was pretty simple, and I bet it's similar to a lot of answers others in here would give. I had a lot of pride putting on the Miamisburg jersey. I felt proud to walk around Harmon Field pregame, to stand out at Toadvine Field during the national anthem, or run out of the tunnel to the marching band playing the fight song for basketball games. I cherished the practices, the team meals, hanging out with my friends and teammates, and I was proud of what we were able to accomplish. Miamisburg's a special place, and I'm thankful to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, great job. Thank you, John and Adam. Whew, good stuff. Okay. Tonight's next inductee is Anna Weisman, a member of the class of 2012. Anna is being inducted as a participant in swimming, and I have the honor of presenting Anna this evening as her former high school swim coach. Anna, could you come on up, please? Okay. All right. So, it is my honor and privilege to be here tonight to present Anna Weisman. We have had some very solid female distance swimmers at Miamisburg over the years. Some that come to mind: Jessica Dobbins, Lori Cotty, Nicole Birchmeyer-Casto, and Allie Wampler. Anna is by far the most decorated distance swimmer we have had in the history of the program. When you go into the gym tonight, you look up on the swimming board in the southeast corner, you will see her name up there 3 times. Would be up there 4, but we don't do the classic mile up there. So Anna holds the 200 freestyle record from 2010-2011 district championship of 153.16. She was 7th in state that year in 2010 and 2011. She also holds the top 200 free record as a freshman, a sophomore, and a senior. 500 freestyle record, 2010-2011 at the district championship, just over 5 minutes, 5:00.91. Again, her junior season, she finished 9th that year, and then the following year, her senior year, she finished 15th. She also holds the top 500 free time as a freshman, sophomore, and senior. She holds the mile record, school record, 18 minutes, 10 seconds, 10.23 seconds. I can't walk a mile that fast. Her junior season, she did that at the Southwest Classics, and the closest person to her in school history is 1 minute and 20 seconds away. If that tells you anything. She's also a member of the 200 medley relay team, school record in 2010-2011, and you were going to probably hear me say she was a freestyler. No, she wasn't. She actually swam the third leg of that relay, which was the butterfly. We were at Miami. We didn't swim great at sectionals that year, and we went to Miami, and I think we were like seated 9th or 10th. So we were actually in the second heat, and usually, top 3, 4, 5 teams would make it to state, and we're coming out of the second heat. So we've got 8 teams in the first heat, the last heat, that are faster than us. And these ladies swam lights out, and we ended up making it to state that year in the medley relay. It was awesome, and Anna was a huge part of that. She has multiple GWalk South, GWalk 20 team, sectional and district championships, and the 200 and 500 freestyles through her career. One thing, when up here, and Adam, 3-sport athlete, time, commitment he put in. Anna didn't just swim in the winter. She was a lifelong, year-long swimmer. And if you don't know about club swimmers, they practice at 5 in the morning before school every day. They go to school. They go back in the evening every night and practice. She spent her life in a swimming pool, probably more than she did at other places. When we would go to state, one thing about Anna, we were talking about this on text the other night. When we would go to state up in Canton, I usually had to drive a van, and Anna was so meticulous and just so determined. We'd compete on a Friday morning, and we'd go back for finals on Saturday afternoon. So most kids, they'd go back to the hotel room, they'd go see a movie. What'd we do? Got in the school van, drove to Worcester College. And Anna would get out. Megan was with us a lot of times, some of the other girls. And she'd swim about somewhere between 2,400 and 3,200 yards that night to get ready for her race the next day. She taught me so much as a swim coach, timing, just how many strokes she had in between wall to wall, breaths from wall to wall, coming out of her turns, to always talk about her flip turns. And she was just, that right there just tells you, we would do that. And I would sit at Worcester, and they'd have it was an old pool, and they'd have all these quotes on the wall, and I'd be writing them down, and Anna would just swim away. Megan would get done with hers quick, and, she'd just swim away. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, funny story about Anna, she might not remember this, but one of my good friends, Jonathan Wade, he's a baseball coach here and gym teacher, and this was many moons ago when I was teaching 6th grade still and coaching. And we had started a junior high swim program, and Anna was clubbing, and she wasn't with our junior high swim program because club swimmers would have to stop swimming their club meets when they did that. So she just did her club thing, and Mr. Wade came to me one day and he said, "You know this Weisman girl?" I was like, "Yeah, I know of Anna." I said, "She's a swimmer. She's going to be coming up with us soon." He said, "Well, she wants to use the elevator all the time." I was like, "She wants to use the elevator all the time?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "Well, it seems like every couple months she tells me she's got a taper and she can't walk up and down stairs." So learn about tapering. Where tapering is when swimmers will, they'll go hard for a long time before they come up on big meets. they choke down their workouts, they shave down, all kinds of stuff like that. And one of her things, to get out of gym a lot of times, or to get out of going up and down stairs, she had convinced Mr. Wade to try to let her use the elevator so she didn't have to go up and down the stairs. And I just always loved that story. It was always good.
I got a B in gym that year.
You got a B in gym? I cannot believe that. We're going to have to get on there. I spent a lot of time with Anna and a couple of the other young ladies, and Megan's here tonight. She was inducted in our Hall of Fame a couple years ago. We spent a lot of time in a van to Miami and back, to Miami and back, to Canton and back, to Worcester, to Canton and back. One year we even snuck up to watch, who did we watch go swim that year?
I think Toledo.
Oh, yeah, we went and watched Megan swim. And I got in trouble when I got back because I had put too many miles on the school van. It was your senior year. I remember that. Spent a lot of time in the van, and you just build relationships. And you listen to them, and they talk about their hardships. They talk about their life, and they're like daughters to me. They just became daughters to me. And when they left, it was tough. It was tough. But you talk about toughness. I coached football, and I've shared this story a lot for, 20-something years. And I was kind of a one-minded guy when I was younger, like football was football, and that was it, and and there wasn't anything else. And I started coaching swimming, and man, did I learn about what toughness really was. And Anna was one of those young ladies that taught me what toughness really was. It wasn't always about the physical toughness, person on person. It was about the mental toughness and about battling and what she put her body through, and just going at it every single day and never quitting. Very, very proud of her. She swam at Toledo after high school. She has a couple records still at Toledo. She helped us, one of the things we're very proud of here at Miamisburg is, we don't have a swimming pool in our backyard. We had to travel to practices at Dayton. At that time, we'd go to UD, sometimes at West Carrollton YMCA. We always had to compete against Centerville, who had WTRC, and Springboro, who had the Kaufman Y. We kind of had a little rivalry going with Springboro there for a while. We had some good swimmers, and we had multiple GWALK championships against Springboro. And Anna was a big part of helping us do that as well. So she is currently a 5th grade teacher at Harmon Middle School in Pickerington, which is warm to my heart after teaching 6th grade science for 16 years. I'm so proud of that. I know exactly what her kids are getting every day, and they are lucky. She's passionate, she's caring, and her attention to detail, I can only imagine what her lesson plans look like. I'm sure they were a lot better than mine. I am so proud of you for the young woman you have become. Congratulations, Anna Weisman. Say what you got to say, and I'll give you your award.
Okay. I'm going to try not to cry. So. Thank you, Mr. Shade, for your kind words. The impact that you've had on my accomplishments, not only as a person but as an athlete, is something that I've always been very grateful for. I'm incredibly thankful and honored to be inducted tonight into the Miamisburg High School Hall of Fame. As I've reflected on my time in high school over the past couple of weeks, I can't help but think about my younger self, who never could have imagined standing here today. However, I think that my dad always knew, so thank you, Dad, for always being my #1 fan. As far as my toughness, I have to thank my mom for that. So thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to work hard, be tough, and reminding me that swimming was never something that I needed to cry about. But Mr. Shade, thank you for always listening to me cry. No matter what, you were always proud of me. The lessons that you taught me by being a listening ear, your encouragement, and your belief in me, and the way that you always supported me and cheered for me in my races and also in my life has made me a better teacher and influenced the athlete that I was. Growing up, swimming required a lot of time and sacrifice for my whole family. My parents did the dirty work of driving me to practice at 4:30 in the morning and paying the bills. But my sister and my brother gave up a lot along the way too. So thank you to my sister and my brother, Megan and Tim, for always keeping me humble, fueling my competitive edge, and letting swimming take over parts of our lives. I'd also like to thank my club coaches, Gary and Kevin, for putting in the time that built training that led to all of these successes. And thank you to all of my teammates over the years, especially the best teammate that I've ever had, which is my fellow Hall of Famer, Megan Davis. In high school, Megan and I would always say that we didn't choose to be friends, we just had to be because we swam the same sport. But truly, she was a perfect teammate and an even better friend, and thank you for always being someone that I secretly always looked up to. I'm very grateful to share tonight with my parents, my sister, my grandma, my friends, and fellow inductees. Thank you to the committee for this honor, and congratulations to Mayor Church, Adam, and Jacob. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. All right, get my glasses on, I can't see anymore. Somebody steal my last page. All right. Okay, tonight's final inductee is Jacob Wiley, a member of the class of 2010. Jacob is being inducted as a participant in football and track and field. Unfortunately, due to the impending winter storm, Jacob and his wife Courtney were unable to travel from the south to be with us this evening. Jacob's father, Kevin, and his brother, Michael, will accept the award on his behalf. He will be presented by his brother, Michael.
Hi, everybody. So, if you know anything about our family, we tell a lot of stories. We always have, and we always will. It's mostly about athletics. And I know we're short on time, so I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. Jacob does everything for everybody else. When it comes to athletics, he pushed himself harder than even I did. And he had different outcomes. But that never, ever stopped him from pushing absolutely the best that he could with his ability. I want my dad to tell one story about what it really meant to be Jacob. And I think you guys are going to kick out of it, but this is kind of the man that he's become, because we tell this story every time we get together. Because this defines what Jacob is like. So, Dad, I'm going to give it to you.
Well, thanks, everybody. So this means a lot to our family. If you know any of our history, while the boys were doing their sports, I had some things going on in my life. This crowd is our Hall of Fame, right? You guys, everything that Miamisburg brought to the table for us is why we're still working and functioning as a family, so thank you all. Jacob had a challenge. He had to follow Mike, and Mike, if you don't know, did some pretty cool things in his career. But Jacob is his own guy, so if anybody knew Jacob and knows Jacob, Jacob is his own man, and he's going to do things his way. And to him, track was a team sport. It's very individual, but for him, it was all about the guys he ran with. He ran with Anthony Covington. He ran with Cody Hamlin. He ran with all these guys who desperately wanted to make a state meet. And I remember we're at regionals, and we weren't doing so good in the 4x4. In fact, I think we were in last place, and Coach McElrath pulls Jacob aside. He was running anchor. He said, Jacob, if you don't make it to fourth place, Anthony will never go to state. Cody will never go to state. You've got to do this. And Jacob took that seriously, so literally he was about 50 yards behind, got the baton, and took off. Coach Tim Lewis is standing at the head of the home stretch with the coach from Centerville. And Centerville is in fourth place, and they're way out ahead. And Centerville coach is kind of jumping up and down and pumping on Tim's shoulder, saying, we're going to make it to state. And Tim looks back down the track and sees Jacob coming and said, not today, brother. Jacob came all the way back from about 50 yards back and took that team to state. Jacob was, I think, only the second guy in Miamisburg that run the 448 seconds, he and David Bruton. And the story I'm going to end with, Jenny, West Schoenberger, Jenny tells this story. So after his senior year in track, so Michael had run, Jacob had run, there had been about 6 years of us enjoying track here. They were at a coaches meeting at the end of the season, and they asked all the coaches, what are you thankful for? And all the coaches gave their answer. And the Centerville coach, his answer was, I'm thankful that somebody else finally gets to go to state because there's no more Wileys. That was Jacob. Thanks.
Got a pen for him, too. All right, that concludes the, that part of this, so, just some quick announcements here as we wrap up. The game should start around 7:30, I'm not sure where they're at in there right now. So we would appreciate you making your way to the gym by 7:15 if you could. We have an entire section reserved for Hall of Fame members and their families in the northeast corner of the gym by the training room. When you leave the commons here, you're going to turn left at the second hallway and enter to the right of the second set of double blue doors you come to. Hall of Famers and their families get into the game free tonight, obviously, so you don't need to go up front or anything like that. At halftime of the game, Hall of Famers who are with us will form a semicircle around the M facing the home side crowd with our 4 new inductees positioned in front of them. We will first recognize our past Hall of Fame members who are in attendance, and following that, we will introduce our 4 new inductees by reading their bios as we officially welcome them into this prestigious group. Hall of Fame members, please be sure you have checked in with Jonna, Megan, and or Tara at the front table if you're going to be out there so we can say your name and what year you graduated. And then inductees, please come up front at the conclusion of the ceremony for a quick photo shoot. Okay. In closing, congratulations to this outstanding class of inductees. Great job by all of our presenters, and we appreciate all of you being here tonight to share this moment together. Thank you. This concludes the 2026 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Hey, Anna, can you come over here real quick? I want to get a pic with you, and then you and Megan with John, and I have to go to a meeting real quick. And I know.
You're a busy man.
I'll be back there. Awesome. Megan, will you come up here real quick?